Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, you want detailed accurate records, all yours. The one where I was paid almost 3 months just for walking. No overtime, and report actual time worked. Regional manager steps on my toes. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You want detailed accurate records, all yours. Writing on phone, everyone apologizes for formatting, so I'll follow lead, even though I haven't noticed a difference, but I read on mobile. My first post as well, so here goes. Apologies for the length in advance, and if I jump all over the place, or don't explain things well. I'll do my best. This is a completed MC and an ongoing issue, so there will be more, I'm sure. I work for a very complicated system in the government. In this system we are civilians, who are part of a reserve force, who wear green camouflage, sort of like an army on the weekends and a federal employee on the weekdays. We get paid not by rank, but by pay grades in the federal system, and are still forced to wear our green camouflage, sort of like an army, but without the benefits of, say, army pay, insurance, housing, active duty time, etc. We're not happy about it, but taxpayer dollars at work, which of course I have to pay myself on the weekends, because I'm being paid and taxed heavily in my civilian capacity. Anyway, to the compliance. Our job is compliance, it's who we are. Discipline and following orders? That's us. They'll read any book about any military in history, and there's some micromanaging or overbearing officers who cannot let good people do good things and get stuff done without having to put their stamp and name on it, regardless of what it is. That's this tale. Now I consider myself extremely professional, I do everything above and beyond and keep my guys safe. I may be the guy using what I inspect or fix, or my brothers/sisters may, so I will do it as best I can and not want distractions or people could get hurt. I am the expert and inspector for all things that go boom and cover thousands of these things. I am only one person, I've done this for nearly 5 years. I teach classes on it, I help others, I work very hard to assist my units that I inspect to have an easier go of it, and to get their weapons fixed without hassle. Since it's my job to travel over to each armory or base and work with the units and check the boomsticks, I pay heed to my time. I have to inspect each weapon for issues, and then have it brought in when I'm not traveling so I can fix it. Like a person who goes to the doctor and says there may or may not be something wrong with me, find it, and doesn't say a word again after that to the doctor. And there's thousands of people like this, but only one doctor searching for an illness or bad joint. I'm the damn doctor. Now you can imagine this takes an extremely long time. I've done the math, and it takes well over a year to complete all of my units with PT, travel, lunch, 2 short breaks, and user error. That's not including fixing. So my boss decides, let's try and make this more efficient. By screwing with my time card. Did I mention an army runs on paperwork? It does. Lots of it. Work orders or no touching a boomstick. Timesheets or no pay. Everything accounted for or no cookie for little Joker. He wants to know why a unit with over 1,000 weapons, and subsystems or support systems and platforms, doesn't only take a week to finish, so he says no writing admin time for paperwork. I want to know exactly how you spend your time to find the issue. I can get behind that, he's trying to find out if I'm napping in the garden when I'm supposed to be digging for mines. No problem. I thought. So he is determined, I am compliant even after explaining the situation. He is OB for overbearing boss, and I am J for Joker. J, sir, some of those weapons are stated as being over 2 hours to inspect in the manual, I have them down to less than an hour, this is our largest unit. They have 17 of them. Not to count the 1,000 other weapons and systems in their arsenal, a soldier's safety is in my hands. I'm going to do it fast, but correct, and the paperwork will take time, and I will get it to you after the end of each week. But if you want it faster, please ask PC, production control, to have a vehicle dispatched for the entire week. OB, that doesn't make sense, you have plenty of time, it shouldn't take longer than 2 weeks with that time frame. And the vehicles are needed elsewhere, I can't have it dispatched all week. I'll do your time card and each day dispatch you a vehicle at the start of the workday. That'll solve this issue. J, sir, with what I just told you, it's 17 working hours for that one platform alone, that's 3 days of work with breaks, travel, paperwork, You trying to learn time, me explaining time, me adjusting for issues, and that's me rushing my inspection. Please have a vehicle dispatched for the week and don't change the time, you're adding an hour to the workday with that alone. I can't leave at 0730, if you're dispatching a vehicle then, and you yell if I don't leave sir, that's 15 minutes of dispatch. OB, no, we're doing it my way. I started in the ranks, maybe not weapons, but I know what to do. J. Roger, as you say. I'll do it while wearing a clown nose if you want. I get paid by the hour and need some comp time. I'll even write it in crayon, it's game on. Joker enters the game. He makes me wait 15 to 30 minutes daily before I can get a vehicle, he pawned the issue off on PC. They're rushing. He's chewing me out for not leaving at exactly my start time every day for weeks. I start doing time how he wants, you want it in detail. I used to write police reports, detail is my middle fucking name. Sir. Our time sheets have like 30 lines for a week. I fill them up and continue into the second page each week. We're not supposed to even use half the first page, it's a waste. But I know he's inputting himself, and he won't know what to do. So every day instead of making it clean and easy to do, I keep a journal of our meetings, and what I do separate from the time card as a CYA. I write in the line. I write exactly what I've done. I continue mission. We're talking this as an example. Day 1. Line 1, waiting on dispatch. 30 minutes. Line 2. Travel to unit. Heavy traffic. 1.5 hours. Line 3. Set up tools and wait on opening of arms rooms. 15 minutes. Line 4. Pull first 5 weapons from rack, check serial numbers. 15 minutes. Line 5. Work on work order number 123. 4.5 hours. Line 6. Travel back to base. Line 7. Discussion with OB about distraction from work while stopping work to have discussion about same subject. Line 8. Request vehicle and planning prep, denied. Rather, rinse, repeat. Motherfucker. This continues daily. For over 6 weeks. He continued inputting time. Mentioning nothing. I'm spending 45 minutes a day on time, but I'm not in the office, so I don't see him input my time. Easily 3 hours a week in meetings, to ask why I'm not done. Finally I finish the 1 unit after the first 4 weeks and start another. The man is so stubborn and hard-pressed about his micromanaging he accepts this. On week 7 the man passes time keeping in vehicles back to PC, along with my last time card. Production control is a good friend. She freaks out. She is PC. PC, Joker WTF, I've never seen something so ridiculous, why would you do this? It's going to take me hours. We have so many missions and I'm so behind. You could sum this up in less than 10 lines. It's all the same time codes for each thing. J, OMG, PC I'm so sorry that fell on you. I explain everything. PC, he's been killing me with the same ridiculous stuff, but for the trucks, and how to do my job. He stops work for hours just to talk about why work isn't getting done. I send emails to him while we talk saying it's been 45 minutes, I need to continue work since saying it in person doesn't work. I can't believe he input this. J, it won't happen again. By the way, how long does it normally take you to input time? Like mine specifically? PC, IDK, maybe 30 minutes at the end of the week. Why? J, any idea how long it's been taking OB? PC, OMG, he's been spending hours doing it, only stopping to bother me or call you. I just thought he didn't know the system and was trying to teach himself very slowly. J, mission accomplished. Thanks. Any chance you could dispatch a vehicle for the entire week? I'm going on the road to blah blah blah. PC, too easy, consider it done. Nice job Joker, hope it showed him. Wishing I could say it did. I started a unit this week that has an equally large supply of weapons. I'm on day 6, way ahead of the manual schedule, and I get a call. OB, how are we looking? Almost done? Guess it's an endless cycle that can't be won. I'll let you know if he ever backs off. Until then, I'll keep doing that voodoo. The man cut off his nose to spite his face and still doesn't realize I'm the only qualified person in the area who goes above and beyond and still I get paid by the hour. Keep the calls coming. I could use the comp time. Sorry for the length of the story. The one where I was paid almost 3 months just for walking. It's been a while, but I never really told anyone, and it turns out I'm still kinda pissed about it, so be warned, it'll be a bit ranty. Context. I was working short-term contracts via an agency at the time to experience different fields in the cash, while I looked for something more permanent. First contact. I got this one contract at a health center. I show up on my first day, and have a hard time getting a hold of my new boss, so I just wait around awkwardly, asking around for her. When I finally meet her, she's a stressed person, constantly walking and talking fast, and barely listening. I ask what work I'm supposed to do, but she says she has no time for me, so she gives me a stack of papers and asks me to make as many copies as possible. The social workers use them all the time, and we can literally never have too many. I don't even have the time to wonder if I have any questions that she's gone. The copies are bad, some are faded, others are poorly cropped. I track down the originals or the earliest copies possible to improve the quality of the booklets as much as possible, and make a shitload of copies. It is mind-numbing work and I am bored out of my mind. After over 60 of copying the same shit, I was brain dead inside and quite frankly kinda miserable. They stacked up at first, but it turns out it was because the social workers didn't know they could use them. They didn't want to steal someone else's stuff. So when I explained I was filling my time with that while my real job was explained to me, and that these copies were free for all, they were ecstatic and grateful. The good news spread and rose like bubbles in a freshly poured beer, and the mood was awesome. It made my mental misery and countless paper cuts worthwhile. The actual job. That ended when my boss finally took the time to explain the project she had actually hired me for. The health center wanted to maximize the use of the meeting rooms and needed me to watch how they were being used. She wanted to know when people got in and out of the rooms and what they were using them for. This was to track the downtimes and maybe even rent out some meeting rooms to outsiders. I asked how exactly I was supposed to do that since I couldn't be in 3 different floors at the same time and watch them from end to another among multiple corridors. She said she didn't know and to figure it out, and she ignored me and then walked out on me. I was dumbfounded. But I complied. I honestly still have no idea how I was supposed to accomplish that. The best solution I found was to walk all the corridors in a loop. One loop took roughly 8 to 13 minutes, 13 when I started, 8 as I built cardio and muscles. I took a few minutes break so each loop started every 20 minutes. That way I'd have an idea of the room usage. I intended to eventually compile the information on the computer, likely my personal one since I had no equipment assigned to me. The compliance. So for months I walked. I was used to desk jobs. My feet at first were swollen and everything hurt. I was tired, dead tired, when I finished work. But that was actually the upside. I had never had such nice legs and booty. I became fitter and my pants looked really good on me. The downside was that it created a hostile work environment. The health workers using the rooms felt hawked and watched. To them, I was basically a spy from management. I had their names and activities with time logs and room numbers. You couldn't tell easily if a room was in usage, so I literally had to bend over to see if there were feet inside via the non-glazed portions of the glass panes when there were any. I couldn't always tell who had used what room. It was hell. Everyone hated me. I became depressed. There was no one I could talk to. My boss basically ignored and avoided me, and she was my only point of contact. I tried to be friendly and nice, but I was still pretty much just hated. I made the mistake of reading an article on the Palestine and Israel conflict, something I knew little about at the time. Since I couldn't finish the article in one go, I left the newspaper open on that page while I hurried through my round, and when I came back, a doctor was upset and crying, saying something about how it was on purpose since the newspaper was open on that page. I have no idea why it was wrong to read a newspaper article, and I was already hated, so I just walked away bewildered. The following day, my only comfort at work disappeared. It was a tiny teaspoon beautifully decorated that had accompanied me throughout my university years. It was a source of comfort to me, like a teddy bear or a warm blanket in that cold place where I didn't belong and wasn't welcome. I was so upset. I literally made wanted/lost posters and still no one ever gave it back. I had stupidly ran out of time after drinking my coffee and left it in my mug while I hurriedly made a round. In the few minutes I was gone, it had disappeared. Honestly, I missed being chained to the photocopy machine at that point. At least people actually appreciated what I did back then, and I was liked, not hated. The fallout. Mercifully, I found a permanent job downtown with very good conditions, so I gave my notice, at which point my boss finally made time for me. I could almost swear she had been avoiding me until then, and any interaction was cut short by her mumbling something or other without paying attention to what I was saying and fast walking away. So anyway, at this point, she asked to see what I'd done. I explained my reasoning and showed her my piles of data accumulated for almost 3 months by then. She was shocked. "This is useless," she said. I wanted to smirk. I wanted to roll my eyes. Honestly, what did she expect? She wasn't wrong though. It was useless data. Columns and columns of data coded in simple letters and scribbled notes. Completely unreliable, since even as I was taking the notes I had no way of confirming if anyone was really in the room or not. "Well, this is the best I could do with the resources and guidance I was given," I said and shrugged. "Not my problem. Honestly. I just wanted out." She was shocked and angry, and I didn't give a shit. I had been paid to walk 8 hours a day. My very presence made everyone hate management. I was never so happy to leave a job. Things were looking up. I never looked back. I still hate that place. A social worker there stole my custom-ordered books from Japan. She never answered my calls when I tried to reach her about it. She had an address where she could drop them and multiple phone numbers she could use to reach me. All that info I had also taped inside the books. She just ignored me and kept them, even though she said she didn't like them. WTF. I was young, dumb and naive. I believed her to be trustworthy because of her job and the impression she gave off. Much regrets were had. My Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind collection remains pilfered to this day. Fuck that place. But hey. Got fit, got paid and fucked over the hated management. I'd have left with my middle fingers held up if I didn't have a bunch of bags and bus pass to carry. No overtime and report actual time worked. Regional manager steps on my toes. Many years ago I was managing a company that was part of a national chain. We served customers all over the world with internet, phone, and we also had a high volume of walk-in customers on site. My regional manager made it clear to me that I was not to authorize any overtime. If a customer walked in or called in a few minutes before closing, and would require an employee to work over 30 to 60 minutes to service the customer and make a sale, I would allow them to come in late the next day by the 30 or 60 minutes they had worked over the night before. I balanced the time every week with no overtime and reported regular hours on payroll. We were working a bi-monthly pay period. One day when I was off, the regional manager paid a surprise visit to the site I was managing. He had a meeting with all the employees in my absence, and read them the riot act and demanded that all of them must report promptly in the morning at the start of their shift, and leave in the same manner at the end of the shift, and they must report actual times on the handwritten time cards to the minute. My team reports this to me the following day, and we comply. We rack up a bunch of overtime over the next 2 weeks, with those that got caught up servicing customers at the end of the day after hours. After submitting the time sheets, the regional manager calls me and goes off on me about the overtime. It went like this. "RM, what the hell is going on over there? I told you no overtime. This is unacceptable, I didn't authorize this." Me, "Did you visit my facility and have a meeting with my staff in my absence, and demand that actual times must be reported, and they have to be punctual and leave promptly?" RM, "Yes I did." Me, "I have been managing this by allowing people to work late and come in late to eliminate overtime and make sales. We close at 5 o'clock, we expect a sales rep to answer the phone at 4:59, work with the customer and make a sale. If a customer walks in at 4:59, we expect a sales rep to work with the customer and make a sale. This could take 15 minutes to an hour. I appreciate my staff doing this to service the customer, and we are now complying with your new rule to report actual times. You really shook up my staff on your last visit, and I cannot manage this anymore. RM, forget we had this conversation and go back to what you were doing." If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.